Now at 11, signs of progress in the Middle East as a ceasefire is underway in Gaza, bringing cautious optimism. Plus, Providence and the Oregon Nurses Association at the bargaining table. What's left to negotiate as the strike continues? And how Oregon firefighters and local businesses here in Portland are supporting the firefighting efforts in Los Angeles. And thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Our top story tonight, phase 1 of the ceasefire deal in Gaza continues. The Israeli prison services say it has released 90 Palestinian prisoners and detainees, all of whom are women and children. The detainees are on their way to at least one drop-off location where many will be reunited with family and friends. It's after Hamas freed 3 Israeli hostages from captivity. Phase 2 of the ceasefire will see the release of the remaining hostages and detainees from both sides and a permanent end to the war. Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Israel retains the right to resume fighting in Gaza if the second stage of the ceasefire proves to be pointless, and says he has the backing of President Biden and incoming President Trump.
It is an outcome of the cooperation between Israel and the outgoing Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration. Since he was elected, Trump was completely committed to the release of the hostages. We spoke on Wednesday. He congratulated me on the agreement, and he emphasized, and rightly so, that the first stage is a temporary ceasefire.
Today, we spoke to David Cossack, a senior rabbi at a local Portland congregation. He said he's glad the ceasefire is in place and that hostages are starting to be released, but is cautiously optimistic given the history of ceasefires between Hamas and Israel.
I'm hoping that it can mark a period of time where people of different backgrounds are allowed to live in peace and harmony together, and time's going to tell. I mean, you know, I feel a little bit of dread or caution because we've been down this road before, but I also have to maintain my hope and faith that, you know, things do change often when we least expect them to.
The first phase of the ceasefire is expected to last for 6 weeks. All right, turning now to weather and taking a look outside on this chilly January evening. Another day with clear blue skies and a break from the rain. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us now. And Joe, you are also tracking some of those blustery east winds coming out of the gorge.
Yeah, we are going to be issuing a weather impact alert throughout parts of east side Multnomah County. That includes parts of Gresham and Troutdale and all the way into the Columbia River Gorge because of those east winds. Now, overnight lows are going to be in the mid to the upper 20s, but you travel into parts of the gorge, yeah, it's going to be feeling more like the mid-teens or so, about 15, 16 degrees with that wind chill. Right now at PDX, we're seeing a temperature of 41 degrees as we look toward downtown Portland. You can kind of see that wind picking up a little bit. Now, this is coming from information coming from the airport, but outside our studios here in Goose Hollow, it's a little bit cooler at 36 degrees, but that winds are pretty calm. And we're looking at calm winds across the metro area now. But as we go into the later part of tomorrow morning, or I should say overnight, we're going to be seeing those gusts anywhere from 25 to 30 miles an hour. You go into Troutdale, it's about 35 mile-an-hour wind gusts, and you factor in that wind chill, it is going to be downright cold. So it's tonight through Monday afternoon, strong winds, and you're going to want to limit your exposure if you can, if you're going to be outdoors throughout parts of Gresham and Troutdale. Again, as we look at the weather headlines for your weather impact alert, the strong east winds pick up tonight, and they're going to be staying pretty strong in the overnight hours. A lot of models I just looked at are showing by late tomorrow morning in the afternoon, they'll start to calm down a little bit, but very dangerous wind chills. Again, you might be seeing readings right around the low 20s, mid 20s, but you factor in that wind, it's going to be feeling like right around 10 degrees in a few locations, if not a little bit cooler. So yeah, definitely dangerous wind chill out there. Right now we're seeing a temperatures just above freezing in many locations, but overnight we're going to be looking at our temperatures dropping. We also have that cold weather advisory that's in place right now all the way until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and it is going to be very cold the next couple of mornings. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. More counties in the area are setting up warming centers ahead of the forecasted stretch of that dangerous cold. Clackamas County opened its overnight shelter at Father's Heart Street Ministry in Oregon City. Service pets are allowed on a leash or in a carrier there. And Clark County has issued a severe weather alert to activate increased shelter capacity. The overnight centers are at Living Hope Church in Vancouver and the Salvation Army in Washougal. For more details, visit our website, kgw.com. It's now been over a week since certain Providence healthcare workers walked off the job due to a labor dispute. Now, Providence is working with mediators with all 11 bargaining units, but it's still unclear how much both sides have to go until they reach a deal. Now, this afternoon, Senator Ron Wyden made his way to the picket line to show his support for the striking workers. Celine Stevens spoke to Senator Wyden and nurses who are both questioning Providence's latest moves.
It looks like they just keep recycling the terms that they've already given. So I have some real questions about whether they're bargaining in good faith.
Sunday marks 10 days of Providence healthcare workers holding the picket line as they continue to demand Providence present them with what they call a fair contract.
We want to be in there providing care. We are the best able to provide care for those patients, and so there's matters at play that can allow us to go back in there, and we're happy to get back in there as soon as we have that contract.
The bargaining unit from Providence Portland Medical Center met with the hospital Sunday, but members say not too much was accomplished, and they feel the hospital isn't willing to meet in the middle.
They sometimes resist that, and they come across as they want to dictate what it's going to be. Providence's position at the moment is they're not ready to give on anything but maybe staffing. So there's a lot of other things that we're talking about.
Still, nurses also said it's huge that Providence is back at the table with all 11 bargaining units, but they plan to keep standing their ground.
We need to show them that we're really stubborn too about not letting our patient standards, our nursing standards for our profession slide.
Senator Ron Wyden also came out to the picket line at Providence Portland Medical Center to show his support. He says he questions if the hospital is bargaining in good faith and says he doesn't think Providence arguing they can't afford some of the demands is a valid excuse.
They certainly spend a lot of money on very high salaries of executives. Given that they do that, they can make sure that workers like these get a fair shake.
Providence said in a statement Sunday that the current proposals from the Oregon Nurses Association are not financially sustainable. As for if there's an end in sight, Providence also said that they expect a lengthy strike. ONA will decide when it ends. Celine Stevens, KGW News.
In Los Angeles tonight, thousands of families are starting to return home after those devastating wildfires. Evacuations now lifted in some areas, while in others, firefighters are still battling the flames. Even for the ones with homes to return to, challenges still remain. Smoke damage means everything inside many homes are a total loss. And there are concerns over air quality from both smoke and charred debris.
We don't know what chemical makeup it is, so we don't want that to get into our lungs.
More than 5,000 firefighters are reinforcing crews that have reached 43% containment in the Palisades, and for the Eaton fire, an encouraging 73% containment. Now, the 21 Oregon strike teams working in Southern California continue to support the firefighting efforts. The state fire marshal's office said in an update today, their focus is extinguishing hotspots, mopping up around buildings, and helping to increase containment on those two largest fires. Also, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department arrested 2 Oregon residents yesterday after they were caught trying to drive into an evacuation zone while impersonating firefighters. Deputies said Dustin Nell and Jennifer Nell were driving a fire truck they bought it at an auction, claiming to represent Oregon's Roaring River Fire Department, which of course doesn't exist. The two even had firefighter gear, helmets, and radios. Dustin Nell has prior convictions in Oregon for criminal mischief and arson. And back in Oregon, the local support for Southern California hasn't stopped yet. Today, with the help of other local businesses, Memento Mori Cafe on Northwest 24th Avenue held a fundraiser. All of the proceeds are going to an LA animal rescue that lost its entire facilities in the fires and other shelters. We spoke to cafe owner Corinna Hernandez, who said before moving to Portland, she came from Southern California and still knows many people and businesses there.
Nature happens and it's unfortunate, and sometimes you just get to leave with barely what you have on your back, and that's it. So if we can help you, and I'd like to help you.
They also held a raffle with prizes also donated by local businesses. And it's not too late to help out the victims of the Southern California wildfires. You can donate by scanning the QR code you see there on your screen. We also have links at kgw.com, or you can donate in person at any U.S. Bank branch. It was an extra special celebration today at a historic Portland church. Today, Vancouver Avenue Baptist Church welcomed the public and local elected officials for its 19th annual Empower the Dream service. It's meant to bring people from all faiths and backgrounds together to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. This church was the first largely African-American church to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It's also the only church in Oregon that Dr. King addressed back in 1961. Senior pastor J.W. Matt Hennessy has a personal connection to the King family.
I was too young to have been involved with Dr. King, but his wife, Mrs. King, was my godmother, so we had lots of years. So this church has had now a history of really connecting both with the King family and the importance of civil and human rights.
The service also featured speakers from various faiths and songs performed by the Pacific Youth Choir.